years ago, what your first memory of Harlow could possibly be.
Oh, I lived in Hobbs Cross. I was born up in Hobbs Cross, Churchgate Street.
Yeah.
Up there, and very, very, what can I say, plain, and there was no buses. My mother used to walk from there when I was a small baby, like, and with the pram, and she used to come through the churchyard. And unfortunately, it was one of these clap gates there where you just went through, and she tried to get the pram through there, and unfortunately, somebody had to come and take the gate off the hinges so she could get the pram with me in it, helped, so that she could continue her walk into Old Harlow shops, as it was. Yeah.
Because we had lots of shops in Old Harlow.
There's Old Harlow shops. So.
Yeah.
So just if you can paint a picture, but when you're saying the shops in Old Harlow, are you talking about Churchgate Street or
no, the High
Street.
And there was some down Station Road, wasn't there?
Yes, on the way to the Harlow station.
Yeah.
There was a rows of shops there.
Down there.
If there's one shop you could say, I miss that shop, what shop would that be?
Certainly it was like the Armonger shop, wasn't it?
Old Coleman's.
Yes, Coleman's. And also down there was Herbert Lee's, wasn't there? He used to have all the kettles hanging outside.
Right.
It was good Armonger shop, you know.
Yeah.
But you had everything.
Everything
the
there.
butchers, the greengrocers.
And that is the labour exchange was down there where you had to go for employment.
Yeah.
I went there.
Very basic it was here.
Yeah.
Really.
So you had your parents always stayed in the Hobbs Cross area?
Yes. Well, my father was actually born in Park Hill.
Yep.
And I don't really know much of his history, but his granny brought him up, like lots of families were. You know, the people died very young, in their 30s.
Yeah.
Like, probably after having babies, and that the mother died, didn't they? And so as I say, he was brought up by his granny, and then from there he moved to with my mother. Like when they married, they lived up at Churchgate Street, Hobbs Cross, as I say. But the houses were, you know, 2 up and 2 down, and the bath outside hanging up.
And when you say Hobbs Cross, I always think of the crossroads, the cottages as Hobbs Cross. But is that much? Do you see? Is it actually there?
That's the cottages up there.
The cottages there.
And then you see there's a crossroads. There's like a crossroads there.
Yeah.
That other one goes on to Pod Street. That other far road. Yeah. See, but there's as I say, Hobbs Cross is actually there in that little park where the crossroads are.
Yeah. Okay.
And those cottages along the top there, they were really old, and that, but they've been done up, and people have bought them, and you know. Now,
in those days.
Certainly. But unfortunately, cottages we lived in were pulled down, but a lot of them are still remaining from that era, you know. Yeah. Yeah, oh yes, we'll have to go up there and have a look, see what they've done with various places.
Yeah,
yeah. Because there's a big house up there, and that belonged to, one was Burt Burroughs, or sort of a big house, one of the houses up there. And then what's that other one? They were sort of not farm people, weren't they, up there?
I can't
remember. I will eventually.
That's all right. You can come back in at any time.
Yes, what I say, it comes back to you, the names.
We'd like to talk about who was actually not originally lived in Harlow, but your parents came here. Has anybody here whose parents came here? Are you all born and bred in this area?
Was your parents here? Do your mum
my dad come from Ireland. My granny came from Ireland.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my father was here,
Right.
But he's always lived here, when I was born and that.
Yeah. What part of Ireland did Granny come from?
Puretown, which is County Kilkenny.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's this side of Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so your father, so she came across here?
His mother did. His mother, and he was born here actually, but his mother come from Ireland.
But your father was born in Harlow?
Yeah.
Okay. And what part of Harlow was he brought up in?
In Park Hill.
Okay.
Park Hill, yeah.
And what did your father do?
He was an engineer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And where did he work?
He worked at British Hydro Mechanics.
Right.
That was one of the factories down the industrial estate.
That's it, down to tell us about.
Well, they had various jobs, but that was the last one.
And what are your memories of being brought up in Harlow?
Joe, the first thing I remember about the new town was the 9-storey, which was over by Stackfield, isn't it? That was the first, the first,
the tower block.
The lawn, that's right. I remember when they opened it, going up to the top with that and having photos taken on the top.
Oh, right.
Remember that, and that was 70 years ago, I suppose, wasn't it? It wasn't very, no, it could have been a bit later.
Yeah.
But,
where did you go to school?
Fulbert and Barnard's
and
Mark Hall. And Mark Hall. Yeah.
Happy days?
Yeah, fine.
I said, remember a teacher. Give me the name of a teacher.
Mr. Fussell.
I'll say Mr.
Fussell, remember him.
What about Miss Applesea?
Miss Applesea was the name wrong.
Yes.
Mr. Palmer was the headmaster, and Miss Cook was the...
She did marry later in
Miss
life.
Cook was the headmistress.
But actually I was her carer. And I said to her, fancy having me back after having me at school. She said, you weren't that bad, was you, Audrey? So I said, I think you've got a short memory.
So go back to Mark Hall, how busy, did it feel like a big school?
Definitely, from Fulbert and Barnard's, it was a big
I
step.
left just before they finished it.
No, it was a big step to go to that school from Fulbert and Barnard's,
Must have been.
But, no, it was good, yeah.
And did you feel, if you live in Hobbs Cross, you definitely live in the countryside.
Yes.
When you lived
in Park Hill.
Where Park Hill, did you feel you lived in the countryside, or were you feeling you were living in a town?
Not really, because the high street was a
park.
town. The park was opposite, and there was a lot of shops. Really, a lot of shops.
Yeah.
We had everything, didn't we?
Well, where East Park is, that used to be all parkland from there. That lodge was where the people lived. And when they used to have to come out and open the gate for the coach and horses to go through and all like that.
They showed all the cows in that.
And you see Gilbys had the big house.
Yeah.
Gilbys lived in the big house, didn't they?
There was
over the park.
Yeah, Mark Hall, that got burnt down, Mark Hall. And there was only the annex left, wasn't there? I think the Land Army girls used to live there.
During the war, the Land Army girls.
I'm not old enough to remember that. But,
the Land Army girls.
So we were filming a piece in the museum earlier this year, and somebody at the Harlow Museum, and a 91-year-old land girl was there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great. It's almost like walked into a scene,
Yes.
Here's one we made earlier. And what about, so we're focused on you for a second, so I will spread the love, as they say. And did you work after school? What happened after school?
Yeah, I worked at OC Products, which was one of the factories. They made television cabinets and radiogram cabinets, wooden ones. Yeah, I worked there for 11 years.
Right, so what was your first job there?
In the office. In the office. I started as a junior and worked myself out. Yeah.
Did you have to go for... I'm asking, sorry, some of my questions seem obvious, etc. But did you have to go for a job interview, or do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. Went to the Labour Exchange.
Went to the Labour Exchange.
There were so many jobs to pick from then.
Do you find that people of a certain age will say, I went to a Labour Exchange, there was a job? I think they must think, what world did you live in?
That's right, they do.
That's how it was.
When you speak to your sons, don't they? When you speak to your children and that, now they've grown up and they're amazed.
Yeah. Were you aware of the town of Harlow being built?
Oh yes, because I
don't
remember it without it, to be honest. No, because it gradually grew and grew.
The Stowe was the first one.
I remember going.
And then we went on our bikes from where we worked one lunchtime just to have a look at the shops in the Stowe, and we thought it was out of this world.
The Stowe was the first big shop.
Stowe was the
with
first
the school
down to have a look at.
Do you remember any shops from the Stowe that spring out?
James.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
James. Remember James?
Victoria.
Dress shop. And they used to do the school uniform there in James. I think what
else was there?
It was a butcher's, wasn't it? I mean, there was quite a lot of shops there.
That was at the Stowe, wasn't it?
The Stowe.
At the greengrocers, Ellis's.
Ellis's, the green
Oh,
ones.
Ellis,
Dorrington's was always there. Dorrington's has been about, But no, there was a lot of shops in the Stowe. Furniture shop.
Yes, there was
Charles Hall, that was, I think, there.
Yeah.
Remember that in the stone?
And now he does just carpets, doesn't he? Charles Hall carpets, isn't it?
That's
Still
right.
there.
Yeah.
What about entertainment? Where would you have gone for entertainment?
Oh, we used to go to the Victoria
Victoria Hall.
Hall.
Saturday dance.
Saturday night dancing.
Saturday night.
Ballroom dancing.
Ballroom
Yeah.
dancing, yeah.
And
We used to have a 8-piece band there.
Yeah,
didn't
we did, yeah. Really lovely.
Yeah, we used to go every Saturday night.
Yeah.
And there
to
was
the Victoria Hall.
Mrs. Dory and Miss Mellerick, and they used to teach us dancing in the drill hall in Old Road.
Yeah.
And that was originally for the army and that one, Doreen and that.
It was.
In the
Yeah,
drill
hall,
hall,
yeah.
yeah.
So it was left. And now, and then a little while ago, it was up until then, it was what's them boys what go? And then they've closed it down.
Oh,
Training
cadets.
What
isn't it?
cadets?
Yeah,
Army cadets.
yeah.
Army cadets. Yeah.
But your face lit up. When it said Victoria Hall, your face lit
Oh,
up.
it
You must
does.
have had a great time.
Yeah,
Don't
we
tell me
tried.
too much, mate. You
Lovely.
must have had a great time.
Lovely. We had to be home at certain time.
Did
you? Know?
you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or else?
Or else.
Yeah.
And my father would be coming up the road to meet if we were late.
Yeah.
He'd say, "Come on, you girls, you're supposed to be home by now."
Oh dear.
We used to go to the Harlequin in the
Oh,
Stowe.
yeah, it was in the Stowe,
The
wasn't it?
Harlequin, yeah.
Now
that
remind
was-
us, whereabouts was the Harlequin in the Stowe?
Where Dorrinson's is,
Above-
above there.
there.
There was quite a big hall there. Everybody used to go there. The Harlequin. Yeah,
Yeah.
it used to be Jimmy Fallows and Tina. They used to do ballroom dancing
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Teach. Then what else? We used to be the dancing in Victoria Hall, ballet and tap, and that used to
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that? Did you go there?
I've done tap dancing for you.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
did
it
that
was
for
good.
years.
Now what about any of you who had children? What was Harlow like, do you think, for your children? Were you happy for your children to be brought
Yes.
up in
Yeah,
Harlow?
it was a different era to what it is now.
Yeah.
Much nicer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Much nicer.
Used to leave the
My
house.
children.
There wasn't any.
My children were brought up in Harlow.
Were they?
I came in 1960.
Right.
They could
So
go off.
I was part of the new town, really.
Yeah.
And Southern Way only went as far as Bush Fair
Okay.
in 61, yeah.
Right. So from the Saxon Inn to
Yeah,
Bush Fair.
yes. And then
Old
it
reference I
seemed-
put in there.
Yes.
And then
It petered out,
That's
and
right,
it wasn't
yes,
long
yes.
before it was built.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. There was no staple tray or Latin Bush was the school, wasn't it? Latin Green. I get in the muddle. There was a primary school and the big school.
Yeah. Green and Bush.
Latin Bush and I think Latin Bush was the senior school,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
We
So-
built our own bungalow when we came.
Did you?
Yes. So
Ah.
we.
So whereabouts was this bungalow?
That was in Ty Green Village,
Okay.
and it was compulsory purchased from a Dr. Cock,
Okay.
a scientific doctor, and he fought the courts, took it to the High Court,
Right.
and the whole banjo was different plots. The Development Corporation, and so it all sort of dissolved. So my children were brought up in Harlow, and I feel they had a very good education. My girls, my oldest girl, Miss the 11 plus, had just finished, so you did have a choice, and she was put forward, but nerves got her. Then there's another story, but we won't. But she ended up in Burnt Mill School,
Yeah.
and I used to get her to school. I didn't want her to go to Latin Bush. Because I'd seen what they got up to at lunchtime. So and then they both went to Burnt Mill, both my girls, yes. And my granddaughters have been educated there as well.
Yeah.
Since,
Our
yes.
children, sorry, Sheila,
and the
come
and
on.
the change, because my husband came because of work, and that was paving and street lighting.
All right. So you had plenty of work.
Yes, he did. And the carpentry, he was a carpenter by trade. And his uncles came first, and his father said, well, if they can do it, we can do it. So they set up a secondary business. So yes, that went on until the 80s, really, mid-80s. And then work came to an end. So
Because sometimes you think it was all built, maybe I do, as if it was all built in 18 months. It wasn't. It was a long project, isn't it? Until, in fact, when Catherine's and Sumner's was finished.
Oh, goodness,
That was,
yes.
I think, 1980.
Yes, that's right. Well, that's when it started. As I say, it started to come to an end because that was the end.
Yeah.
You know,
The end
some-
of Southern Way, basically.
Yeah.
Before they built the new
Yes, it
town,
took all
after
those
Stowe,
years.
wasn't it?
But the
So they built the
changes have
Stowe,
been vast.
and then it stopped.
I mean,
and then,
we had
yeah.
department stores, didn't we? Do you remember
What's
ladies'
it-
department stores?
Oh yes, we
We
did.
had Woolworths,
stores.
the Co-op.
And
so many.
British
yes,
home stores.
Yes.
I think that's what
Marks and
saddens me
Spencer's.
Yeah.
more than anything. All our stores are low-graded stores, and I think why? Why should they be?
Yeah.
There's people in Harlow who buy nice things, but Next is a low grade. Marks was a low grade, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
Boots.
Water Gardens is nice, isn't it?
Oh yes,
It's a
the
nice
Water
area.
Gardens,
lovely.
lovely. I think the shops are fine in the Water, but why do they call them this grade?
Yeah.
Well, what's that mean? Can you explain to me what you mean by low grade?
Well, say for instance, you can't get certain things in our Boots or our Next. But now, of course, people go online. But a few years ago, you didn't, so you'd have to go out of the town.
Right.
That's true, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
to to get something.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. If they no. And then they had all the stuff upstairs, didn't they? That came from other shops. And yes, I always think that's rather sad. That there's not enough privately owned stores.
So tell me, as you've mentioned 1961, take us back to 1961 and what do you remember?
Well, it was the year I got married, and while we come down here, my husband was already, well, he wasn't my husband then, he was already working down here at Cossers.
Right.
And at that time, Cossers, if anybody was getting married, you could, Cossers would, they would be allowed to house or a flat. So we got married and we got a house at the Stowe. And
What was your husband's job at Cossers?
he was a draftsman.
Okay.
And he could have come down years ago, but his parents didn't want to move down here.
Yeah.
So he travelled back from Highbury
All right.
to here all the time till we got married.
And where are you originally from then?
Hackney.
Hackney.
Yeah.
So are you a Hackney girl or a Harlow girl?
Well, I suppose I'm a Harlow girl, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Hackney, but we were a family of 6 in 2 rooms at the top of the house. And, well, you don't want to know that story because you're talking about Harlow.
No.
But-
And so Stowe, you moved into the Stowe?
Yes, I
Whereabouts
moved
in the
into
Stowe were you?
Stowe. Blackbush Spring,
Yeah.
just up from there.
Come on then.
When I moved there was a field in front of us, and now you've got the Ashlings.
All right. So Ashley's wasn't there?
No.
Oh.
Then there was just a field in there.
Oh, I see.
And my husband said to me, because it was, when I think about it, because when we heard there was going to be built there, we didn't know what was going to be built. And I said to him, oh, we're going to lose the field in front of us. And he looked at me and he went, well, do you very often look at the field, Pet? And I went, come to think of it, no. But yeah, I've been there since, and both my sons went to Markhall, and now they've flown the coop.
Have they moved away from Harlow? And...
Yes, they both have. Yes. One's in Norfolk, and the other one lives in Buckhurst still. So, yeah. So, but as I say, it's interesting listening to these ladies.
In many ways, you're different generations of people coming to Harlow, isn't it? And the point of this is people from 1947 to 2017. When did you come? Whether you were here all the time, if you know what I mean, or and it's a celebration of that.
Yes, that's
Walk
true.
from Harlow right through the park and up to Latin Street.
Right.
And then along Latin Street to Pod Street. And then my father would stop and have a drink there with my mum, and we'd sit and have a bag of crisps and a lemonade at the White Horse pub
Right.
on the common,
Yeah.
and then walk back to Old Harlow.
You did a lot of walking, no wonder you're so
we
fit.
did. Yeah,
Still does.
I still do.
Do you?
Yeah. And so, we used, as I say, that was our Sunday evening walk.
Right.
Yeah, and
walk all through the park.
everywhere we
It was
walked.
lovely.
Right.
So nice memories. I mean, the Potter Street girls, we knew them. They came to our school, Thornton Barnard, you see,
Yeah.
from there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes,
The
yeah.
infants ones was there, but once they got to a certain age, they came here.
When they got to
Mm.
11, they used
yeah.
to come to
Because
Thornton Barnard.
we finished our school there at 14, you see, and then we didn't have Mark Hall or anywhere
No.
like that, no.
Do
Not
people
allowed-
still find that surprising when you say we finished school at 14? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Well, yes, they think it's wonderful. No, I think we were much more mature
Oh, much
watching
more.
than
Yeah.
what some of like the youngsters are. Do you, Sheila?
Oh yeah. They're so protected because of so-called dangers, and
Yeah, that's it.
they
There's
get
none of
too
that.
protected that they don't really.
No. See, we didn't have anything to fear. We used to walk all over the fields to the river because
Yeah.
there was a swimming pool there,
Yeah.
taking
That's
part
right,
of the
isn't
river.
it? Yeah.
And it was all clean and sort of looked after, wasn't it? We had
Yes,
diving
yeah.
boards, everything, and we used to cross all the fields to get to it down Park Hill.
And how old are you doing when you're doing this? Or?
No, at 7, 8, 9, you know,
something like that,
right from
yeah.
the early age.
So if
And we'd go all day with a bottle of water or lemonade and
Yeah.
a packet of sandwiches all day, and our parents never worried at all when we'd walk home at night in time for tea.
Yeah.
When we say, how it was here.
yeah.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
nice.
Completely different to my experience.
Oh, and mine.
Yeah.
I got off the train, I was 7 years old, we got off the train at Harlow station.
Yeah.
It was white. The roads were white. The only thing around was grass. Just so you either had the white road, white buildings and grass. And we got in the friend's car because we were too early to get the keys from the council to
Okay.
have the new house. So we went to my dad's friends for breakfast. And from the station to his house along Southern Way, it was just a long white road. And I was an avid reader of my cousin's comics, and I thought I'd gone somewhere like Emperor Ming's planet. I was so scared,
All
Yeah.
cement, wasn't
and
it?
I didn't want to be here.
Yes.
No?
I didn't want to be here.
Why not?
I didn't want to be anywhere near Emperor Ming.
Oh, I see.
I couldn't get my head round Harlow being the place we were going to live.
Right.
I'd come from a mining village. Roads were not white.
Right. And where was the mining village?
Silksworth,
Where's that?
near Sunderland.
Oh, right. So
It's part of Sunderland now,
yeah.
but at the time it was just a little village.
That's a long journey.
Yes, overnight on the train,
Yeah.
and
So-
waking up the next day, as I say, we got off the train quite bleary-eyed, and
So why did your father come? Did he come for work?
yes, yeah, he was a miner, came down here for work, worked at the Key Glass, just as a bottle inspector, nothing fancy.
Oh, and what year was this?
He came down in 1961,
May I ask what your father's name was?
Richard Elmy.
Okay.
We came down a year later because he had to be here a year to qualify for the house, I believe. So he was in lodgings at Loughton until he came here.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to hear what it was like for other people,
Yeah.
because I was, I woke up and saw this complete strange land.
It must have been arranged for him to move so far away from his home.
Yes.
Did you ever get that feeling that your father? Did he ever talk about Sunderland and missing it? You know, they're very proud people there.
Well, he kept very quiet. It was my mum who hated Harlow and hated it from day one till the day she died.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
dear.
couldn't settle.
No. She didn't like being spoken to the way she was.
Dropping
She didn't
everything,
like being she, because her name was Sheila. She didn't like being called she. She hated that. Couldn't leave the door open like she did up north.
Right.
She didn't like people calling her a silly moo or a silly cow, because up north that was something completely different. It
Yes.
was a rather
Yes.
naughty lady.
Yeah.
So she couldn't get on with the people. She was a very difficult lady.
But that's important for you to say that, isn't it? Because not everybody moved here and thought, this is great.
No, she
This is
hated
wonderful. You know, like any migration stories, whether it's Australia or America, you know, a lot of people come back or never settle properly.
If
but
she could have gone back, she would have.
yeah,
And that's right up until she died. She was 69 when she died, and she never once admitted that she liked living in Harlow.
right.
She'd much rather have been where she was. And if you'd asked me if I'm a Essex girl,
Yeah.
the answer is not bloody likely.
I wondered, you carry that sort of similar feeling? And does it come from your mother, or is it just, you know?
Yeah, I've got no qualms about Harlow. I mean,
Yeah.
it's done no harm to me whatsoever. I had a good education at the original Passmore School.
Yeah.
I had nice jobs and nice people that I know, made friends with loads of people. I've had a good life.
Yeah.
But you still wouldn't get me to admit that I live
No.
in Essex. No way.
And what have you done? What's been your professions or your jobs? Because
My
there's clearly
first job,
something a little bit about you, where you speak, you know, that I thought, well, you must have interesting jobs.
my first job was at the hospital.
Okay.
So I've always done office jobs,
Yeah.
really, up until very recently. So I worked in medical records.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting jobs I've had.
Yeah.
And I've worked in shops and the cinema, and I ran a play school, all kinds of,
Yeah.
various things. So. And the same with my boys, they've done various things. So
And are they Harlow boys, or have they carried on that
Oh,
tradition?
they say they live in Harlow, and yes, I suppose to them Harlow's home. They don't drink black pop, but I crave for black pop and
Black
poor
pop?
bens and cauliflower cakes and things like that. And they just look at me as if I've got two heads.
Stotty bread.
Stotty cake, yeah.
Right.
Stotty bread, yeah. All that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Peas pudding.
Yeah, ham and peas pudding. I can go to Greg's up north and get ham
Yeah.
and peas pudding rolls, and I can't get them down
You
here.
have pork purveyors at home, don't you, that we don't have down here.
That's right.
Where are you from, Richie, madam?
I'm from the northeast, just north of Darlington,
Okay.
from a farming family.
Ah.
And I've been down here now more than half of my life.
Yeah.
But still, at the back of it, home is the northeast.
Yeah. That's
You know,
natural,
I
though, isn't it?
wouldn't, you know, I'm down here to stay,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't go back. But somehow, home is the northeast.
And do you still go back home?
Occasionally, yeah.
And you
Still
call it
got a
home?
brother up there. And, yeah.
But that's all about culture and identity, isn't it?
What is it?
And you've enjoyed being here?
Oh, yes. Yes.
When did you move here?
1979.
79? And
Newcomer.
you come here around
Yeah.
a couple of months ago. And what reason, may I ask, why was
My
it
husband's work.
work? And what work was that?
He got a job at Cossars, like wiring.
No, so Cossars, the same place?
Yeah.
Or- yeah.
Yeah.
Where my husband worked.
Yeah. A lot of people strongly identify with their work, don't they? The thing I've learned is people say, I was at Cossars, I was at, Key Glass, these places.
Yeah.
It's where they worked was very important to them, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It seemed to be more than just a job.
Yeah. I didn't, the first 3 years, I didn't have anything more than the odd part-time job, but in 81 I started work as a resident warden for the council in sheltered housing for the elderly,
Right.
and did that for over 20 years. So yeah, very much identified with that.
Yeah.
Do you not think at that time, because one of my friends, she's Irish, and again they come down here because the job and the house.
Yeah.
At that time, I think a lot of people come down here because
right.
they got,
Well, yeah, because particularly whenever there's, and it still happens today, whenever there's a slowdown in the economy and it starts to hit employment, it's places like the northeast that get hit first. But they're still fairly buoyant down here.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason you had a lot of people coming from up there down this way.
I mean, I've loved Harlow since I've been here because it's probably sounds stupid, but be in the house, and the first thing I thought, a garden. I've got a garden, not a backyard. I've got a garden, And they always, I think I thought more gardener did the house at the time. But
We'd not had a garden until we came to Harlow.
yeah, I couldn't believe I had a garden. Sounds stupid now, really, but you know.
There are plenty of people doing the same now. The people living in London and moving out, moving out, and it's that garden thing, you know. And,
And to actually have a bath, you know, rather than one downstairs, 3 flights of stairs to bring up, so we could all have a bath.
Not having the coal. We still had coal, but the coal was delivered inside the house, and we didn't have to go outside en masse and shovel it in through into the little cubbyhole thing, you know, because it was all just tipped in the road then. So we had free coal then, being a miner's daughter.
all right.
It was free coal, and it used to be tipped out.
Well, even down here?
No.
I was wondering.
So when we came down here, I think that was one of the first things that got on my mum's nerves, was she rejected all the coal. It wasn't coal, it was coke, because we were supposed to be a smokeless zone.
I see.
And the coke didn't burn.
Right.
So she used to tell the Charrington's man she wanted coal, and they used to bring coal, and she still would reject it, and say she found better on the beach up north.
Well, on that note, I'm going to conclude things for now. I'm just saying for the benefit of the tape, just thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it, and you know, I think your history will go with all this history as a record in 2017 of people in Harlow and their memories. And so, just like to say thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.